In today's episode of the Platform Presents podcast, I got a very interesting guest here with me today. I'm with Hannah Jelliman, and she's heading over from the folks over at Whereby. And then we're here, Whereby, they're doing basically hybrid meetings. And the page says that simply, or that it just work. And we want to really deep dive what that means, how the system works, and also how Hannah is thinking about growth for the company. So welcome to the show.
Hi, nice to be here.
Of course. So maybe tell people a little bit about Whereby, what it's all about in your own words.
Yeah, sure. So on a basic level, Whereby is a video conferencing platform, just like Zoom or Google Meets or any of those other kind of players that you've probably heard of. But really, we're kind of more than that in terms of our bigger mission, that we're trying to enable a world where people can work from anywhere. And no matter what your kind of working setup, whether it is a hybrid working model or whether you're fully remote, that we enable people to have conversations in all sorts of different use cases in really easy ways that are not with no barriers by the tech, and that are really kind of user friendly and maybe even fun.
Very cool. Now, who would be mainly using it? Like, what's the typical sort of, customer looking like?
So yeah, pretty much anyone can use Whereby, which is a kind of blessing and a curse for a marketer. But I would say our customer profile has kind of massively shifted over time. During the pandemic, when we massively grew, we had everyone from teachers to people calling their grandma. But as the kind of world has moved forward and the world's opening back up and people's ways of working are completely changing, we've kind of seen quite a shift in who is using our service and how they're using it. So we kind of have anyone from small businesses that are trying out a hybrid working model and trying to make that work, to freelancers who are connecting virtually with clients, or events companies that are wanting to facilitate a virtual offering as part of their service moving forward. So yeah, basically anyone that is wanting to communicate with people in a different location in real time, which obviously the possibilities are endless for that.
That makes sense. Now, how do people learn about Whereby? Like, what's the journey looking like? What's the kind of acquisition channels you guys leverage?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite an interesting one for us because word of mouth and natural virality are pretty huge for us. A lot of our customers come through from having been on a Whereby call. So someone else will be having a Whereby call, they'll get invited in, they'll go into the platform, be like, oh, I haven't heard of this. Oh, this is quite cool. And then they'll go and check us out. So our challenge really as a marketing team is to kind of harness that and make our brand memorable and the experience memorable, that while they might not necessarily be in the market to switch video conferencing platforms at that exact moment when they join a call and discover Whereby, that in a few months' time, when they are looking back and they are looking for a solution, that they remember that really great experience that they had with Whereby and remember Whereby as a brand. And to kind of come back and explore us that way. Obviously, there's a bunch of other ways that people do find us, but I would say, word of mouth and referrals are really quite key for us.
That makes sense. Very cool. How do you think about the website? Like, what role does the website then play?
I would say our website is generally it's our first kind of touch point for anyone who, if they're in a call and they, for example, click our Whereby logo in the corner, then they get taken to our website. So we get quite a lot of people exploring us that way, that they join a meeting and discover the actual platform itself, and then will go and be intrigued as to who this Whereby brand is and go onto our website through that way. Particularly as well, if people are then in the research phase and are comparing people who might have found out about us either through joining a meeting or they saw someone talking about us on social media, they'll then be kind of looking for what is our pricing compared to someone else, and kind of comparing features and things like that. So that's kind of our main purpose of the website, really, is unpacking kind of what's different about us compared to our competitors. What are our kind of brand values as well that we really kind of differentiate ourselves from the bigger players, and what is our story. So yeah, it's a lot about kind of unpacking our brand and also differentiating what our different features are and explaining our pricing and that side of it. So yeah, definitely very kind of factual from that side, I guess.
Very cool. I mean, it's definitely obviously a product that people can try and feel immediately. How does a marketer like you then think about sort of, the website and conversions on the page? What role does the page play, and how do you think about those, conversion points?
I think really for us, it's about getting people into the experience as quickly as possible, because once you're in a call and experiencing it, usually people love it, and can see the difference between whatever they've been using before and really like the experience. So really for us, it's about getting people, when they come on our website, to sign up as quickly as they can for a free account and just start trying it out and seeing what happens. Obviously, we've got all the information on there for if they want to talk to our sales team about a bigger deal, or if they want to look at more information about our checklist of our features and things like that. But really, we want to just get people in and using the product as quickly as possible.
Makes complete sense. Now, is there something that you've learned when it comes to actually driving people from the website into the product that was helpful? Any sort of approaches, methods, tools that you could recommend to people?
That's a good question.
It might be just the copywriting, it might be just keeping it simple.
I mean, I think, just having visuals of our product front and center is definitely a key thing, that as soon as people land on the website, you instantly know that it's a video conferencing platform. There is a picture of a video call. So I think that side of it is definitely kind of, the visual side is definitely important. And then just, having kind of really clear copywriting of, that people can just get started straight away, that it's like one click and you can sign up and join. And that's probably the main things I would say.
Gotcha. Very, very good. Now, I would like to switch gears a little bit and talk about your journey as a marketer. Now, there's so much content out there for marketers these days. Where do you like to educate yourself? What are the channels, maybe the LinkedIn's in the world, the blogs, the books? Where do you personally like to learn with all the stuff out there?
That's a good question. I think probably social media is one of my main areas. I mean, coming from a social media manager background and spending half my life in social media, that's where I find myself for finding any kind of information. But particularly on LinkedIn, I'm part of a few different groups that I find really useful. I can't remember the names of any of them off the top of my head, but particularly kind of marketing groups, like community groups on LinkedIn, and also on Facebook. There's one I'm in called Women in Marketing, which I actually, from a marketing strategy point of view, also find good stuff on there, but it's also just a really supportive community of women who are working in marketing and the kind of struggles that people are going through, and just a really kind of nice place to be. That's probably my main areas. I'm signed up to quite a lot of kind of newsletters, particularly, and I work a lot in kind of brand and social media and content, so like Social Media Today and kind of people like that. Definitely kind of keep an eye on and follow all of their announcements. I
got some rapid fire questions to wrap it up for today. Are you ready for those?
Sure, go for it.
What is the last book you read or the last podcast you listened to?
The last book I read is called Did That Just Happen? I can't remember the author, but it's about kind of building inclusive teams, basically.
What's one single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Sustainable growth, I would say. So rather than kind of rapid getting loads of users in, we're focusing a lot on kind of that sustainable side of things, how to get customers that are going to stick around for a long time with us.
If there would be no boundaries in tech and you would have a magic wand, what's the one single thing you would change for your role in marketing today?
Ooh, that's a good question. I can't actually think of anything. My mind's gone blank.
No worries at all. Maybe we get back to it, but let me progress with the next question. That's why they're rapid fire, so we can move on quickly. So the last question would actually be, if today would be your very first day joining Whereby, what's the one advice you would give yourself?
I would say to not be afraid to take risks. I think as a startup and a smaller brand, you have to take risks and do things a bit differently in order to get your brand out there and known. That would be it, I think.
I really appreciate you joining us today for the Pathway Presents podcast. I want to give you the very last word. If somebody would be forgetting all that we discussed about the Whereby, what's the one thing people should remember?
That it's a really easy to use video conferencing platform that is really kind of refreshing and different, and that you can sign up for free and get started today.
Thanks a lot for being a guest on Pathway Presents.